Hi, guys. It's Teddi Mellencamp, and I am here on Hollywood Raw with these two guys asking all the tough questions. We're talking all things Housewives, all in. We even have a celebrity caller. Thanks to me. Bye.
Welcome to the Hollywood Raw YouTube page, guys. We're happy to have you here. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave us comments, do all the stuff.
What are you waiting for? Let's go. I got a drug addiction to feed. Teddi, first of all, thank you for coming on the podcast. Longtime fan, first time caller. No, I always wanted to do that at the radio shows. No, thank you for doing this. Actually, I was telling people today, like, oh, Teddi, and people love you. It was like good for you to come on. Like, we're excited for you. But like, I was telling other people, like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with Teddi. So thank you for doing this. It's
of course. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing? How's everything with you?
You know, everything's good. I mean, I think with everything that's gone on these past couple, like since the pandemic, it's like highs and lows, and like just you're hitting your stride some days, and then you get that like bam, and then but life's good. I have nothing to complain about.
Yeah, and by the way, look at that house that you got during the pandemic. I was talking to her
that was a positive. That was
right before we started, I'm just looking at the background, like, oh God, look at that fireplace. It's
guys,
beautiful.
Hold on. No one even told me.
What?
I had a towel there. Totally ruined the vibe.
Oh God. That was part of it.
Yeah. We fixed that right up.
I want to start, Teddi, from the beginning. Okay? When you came out of your mother, do you remember? No, I'm just kidding. No, I want to. What? Obviously, you have one of the most famous last names out there. You know, like there's so many famous last names. When you see the name Mellencamp, obviously people, when you pay a credit card, they look at your license, like, they look at who you're, they think of who your father. At what age did you realize your father was a star?
People always ask that. So his first hit was the year I was born. So 1981. And I grew up, I was in Indiana until I was in the 3rd grade. Then my parents got divorced and I lived in South Carolina with my mom. And then my dad got a house there. And that's kind of how it went down. And I have to say, because I grew up in Hilton Head, that's only 12 miles long, nobody really made a big deal about it because it was like they'd known me our entire lives. Maybe occasionally, like if you'd come to a volleyball game, people would be like, but it just was so normal for us. And we didn't live like, it's not like kids out here when they, come from that kind of background. We didn't live this like huge life. Like we didn't go on these like, we weren't heading to like Capri and like going to these places. Like we were just like, we're like going to Michigan to go skiing. So like, it was a really regular childhood growing up. The only time it was when I came to LA and I was 17 years old and I worked at CAA and my boss was trying to get into reservation and he goes, "Oh, I can't get in. Can you just use your name?" And I was like, huh? Like, what do you mean? And he's like, "No, just say Mellencamp, like, and they'll get you in." And I was like, there must be something to this. I would say probably, I always knew that he was talented.
Sure.
But the fame part didn't hit me until I came out to LA.
But here's the thing, while you're growing up and you're in school, and I know that you make it seem very normal, but at the same time, do you feel that people wanted to be your friend, to be close to your family? Because, I didn't grow up in a famous family, so I don't think I experienced it, but I'm just curious if you felt like people were like, oh, I want to be your friend just so I can be included in the,
like it's not even like the kids,
dinner
it's like
party.
The parents. I would think.
Maybe the parents, but the kids, I never really got that feeling. I mean, and when I came out here, I had no friends. It was a really hard transition for me. And, you work in the mailroom and everybody was older than me. I was 17. And like the first year in LA was really hard. And so I don't think people really gravitated to. Now I think it gets me in certain doors that maybe I wouldn't have. But definitely growing up, I didn't feel that like allure of having a famous dad really got me any favors in the friend department. I'm a personality where you either love me or you hate me, so that's kind of been the par for the course my entire life.
Who was some of the cool people that you would see? Like, obviously your dad has a lot of musician friends. Like growing up, do you remember, and like maybe you weren't even a fan of them, but like, like I was just reading Dave Grohl's book, and he was like, "Yeah, my daughter's sitting on the piano, and Paul McCartney joins her and starts playing with her and sings to her." Like, did that happen for you growing up? Like, was there kind of cool people like around the house, or?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember, my dad was really strict. So there was a time that I said, like, I'm going to be home. I went and rode my bike to the barn, and I was like, I'll be back in a couple hours. But I had no concept of time, as a kid. And all of a sudden, probably 6 hours later, I see his like car pulling in like fast. I'm like, oh, hell. I'm like, I'm about to get in trouble. And he's like, I just said a couple hours. We've been worrying about you. So I get back to the house, and it just so happens that Madonna and Sean Penn are there. And I am sitting around like a table with them, getting in trouble. And my dad's like, your birthday's canceled, for the record. My birthday was supposed to be the next day. So my one memory of meeting Sean Penn and Madonna was getting my birthday canceled because I didn't go home on time. Like, this was my life.
Nothing like getting scolded in front of those two.
Yeah. Between that and then the time that I met Bob Dylan, and I didn't know he's not like a handshaker. This was pre-pandemic. So my dad's like, this is my daughter, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hi, nice to meet you. And I put my hand out, but he went to like give me the bump, like to fist pump. But then I shook it. Like it was so awkward. I was like, why am I the world's worst human? Like, why can't I just be less awkward? Like, you saw it, Teddy. You could have just done that. But no, you had to shake his paw. And you could tell he like wanted to get the spray like immediately. Like, he's like, ugh.
That's so awesome. Now, did you get any of the musical talent from the family genetics yourself?
I mean, when I first came out here, I wanted to be like an actress and a singer. Pretty much, I think I just wanted attention. So I did a demo, and I had one song, and I think I'm not great. Let's put it that way. I'm very medium. And I didn't know how to play any instruments or anything, but I was a decent singer, but didn't work. Didn't pan out, guys. You never heard it.
Make a good reality star, though. How about that?
Yeah. When you worked at CAA, were you just trying to see what was out there, and maybe potentially become an agent or representative? Like, what made you do that job?
Well, the rule with my family was, if you're going to come to LA after graduating high school, we'll strip your car out there, but we're not paying for you to be out there. Like, we wanted you to go to college. So I came out, and I, had to start in the mailroom. I also worked at Mr. Chow and Euro Chow as a hostess. And, I wanted to be an actor originally. And then what ended up happening is I got representation, not by CAA at the time. Granted, they rep me now, so I got it back. But, and I had come out here, and I gained a bunch of weight. I'd gained like over 75 pounds, like my anxiety and all of these things, like from the time I got signed. And I booked a pilot prior to gaining a bunch of the weight. And then I came back, and like there was a break. I came back, and I had gained weight, and they told me I needed to lose weight and in order to officially book it. And that's when I never wanted to. I was like, I'm done acting. I'm done. So I still worked at CA throughout this entire time. And at that time I transitioned and said, like, I want to be an agent. I didn't really want to be an agent. I just wanted to feel like I was on a career path. So I worked at CA. I ended up working for the head of the lit department. And then there was a woman, the head of UTA, that reached out to me. And so I worked there afterwards for her. So yeah, that was that.
So question about you. You mentioned Mr. Chow there a second ago, working at Mr. Chow. Food, overrated or not?
They fed us the same thing every day. I haven't even eaten there as an adult. Like, as working there, like, we would just you'd get the whatever it was that they'd serve everybody. It was like the fried rice or something, but I don't even know. I haven't even been there as an adult.
I've been there once. It was delicious. But I'm curious to see if someone that had worked there would go back and actually have a meal, though. So, okay.
I think I was like, I don't know why. It's not one of my go-tos as an adult. Probably because I overate it when I was younger.
What is your go-to restaurant in LA then?
My favorites are Craig's. I love Craig's. He was my neighbor at my old house. So I was able to text him, and I can go there. It was like an easy thing. So, but the food is delicious, and I love people watching there. And then
I don't think I know anything about Craig. Who is he? Like, you say he's your neighbor. I know nothing about it. I know that his restaurant is wildly successful, and there's always paparazzi standing outside, but
always.
who's
So the
Craig?
way everybody knew Craig's, okay, so remember on, I think it's Santa Monica, there was that nightclub next to Dantana's. You know, the restaurant Dantana's, and then it was like Concord or something. It's like we all used to go there, and Jen ran the door. Like it was like the place to go. So Craig worked at Dantana's as the maitre d' for years. And we all became like everybody became friends with Craig's because Dantana's used to be the hot spot to go. And then after, a bunch of years, he ended up opening Craig's. And everybody loves him so much because of the years of, partying.
Is he young? Is he older? Like,
I mean, I don't want to speculate I would say maybe 45-ish. I don't know.
I knew nothing about. I didn't even know there was a guy named Craig that actually entered. I just thought it was a name.
No, he's a legit. He's got like his vegan ice cream now.
Yeah, he's just opened a place in Vegas. Like he's popping off.
Crushing it. I like it.
Yeah. I see. Well, I was going to ask you, I see your dad all the time in, I see your dad all the time in New York City. He's a big smoker. Smokes a lot of cigarettes. Is he still smoking as many cigarettes?
I mean, I don't know if he's smoking as many cigarettes as like he did when he had a heart attack. Like he was 36 when he had his heart attack, but I mean, he still smokes a lot. And I mean, back in the day, my brother, before like Instagram, he started a Facebook page. Like if the Facebook page gets to 1 million, my dad's going to quit smoking. And he actually got there, but then my dad didn't quit smoking. So he loves it.
Have you had your children ask him to stop smoking?
Yeah, he didn't. Because
I feel like grandchildren coming to you and asking you to stop something is a lot different from anyone else coming to you and asking you to stop.
Yeah, he loves it. He's like, I'm going to live and die doing this. And the fact that I can even get him to go outside of my house when he comes to smoke is a big coup. So,
so and I know this is such a silly question, but growing up, would he just sing in the house? Like there's some musicians that sing and like entertain their family, and there's others that like they leave it for the studio and that's not their thing. So I'm just curious, was it a musical household growing up?
Well, he would write music at home, so that part we would see, but it wasn't like to entertain us, like he was working. But a big thing he never listens to the radio ever. Refuses to listen to the radio. And I am like somebody that like needs background music all of the time. So in the car, I would ask him to sing, but he wouldn't sing his songs. Like he always like the same song that now I sing to my kids, Paper Moon. Like, so he would sing that in the car to us. And that was kind of like our thing. Whenever I'd go back to my mom's, like we would do those transitions, like that was our song. And then there's this song about the Snickers bar, but
that's really cool. But why would he not listen to the radio?
He never has, even at the house. I think because from years and years of having like loud music in his ears, like he's really sensitive to like outside noise. Whereas like I am like constantly need loud radio. So he just never.
So interesting.
Yeah. Even at the house, like the music will be on, but it's so quiet.
I love it. All right. What interesting facts.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, but your dad, I've been in, again, so I'm not going to say exactly where he lives, but he lives downtown, and I see him walking around. I've gotten to see him a lot. Actually, a very nice guy. I've seen him with different women over the years. I saw him with Meg Ryan. I saw him with Christy Brinkley. How does he meet these women at that point in his age? Where do you meet women like that?
I don't know how he met those two, actually. I can't remember, but like, I think through like mutual people or reps or, it just like kind of happens. But I mean, he's, as he says, chicks dig me.
Chicks dig him is right.
Swag. Like he's cool. Like he's always very chill. Like you just seen the way he walks. Like again, I see him in Tribeca. I see him in, like he's definitely he's got that.
He knows he's very like set in his ways. He's got his routine, and yeah, I mean, even the fact that he's in New York, like as much as he is, I'm like, how did this happen? Like before, he would never leave Indiana.
Yeah,
but he's been coming to LA. I'm like, okay, I'm in for this.
Did you get close with Meg or Christy or?
I love Meg. Meg is the best. They were together a long time, so we got very close. And then Christy, I've met her a couple of times, but I didn't during that time. It was like I was filming, and I think it was just too chaotic, so I didn't see her that much. But she was always super nice.
Okay, I want to get into Housewives and your time on Housewives. What were you doing? Because you talked about working at CAA and these big agencies. What were you doing right before Housewives?
So after I, realized I didn't want to be an agent, I went back to riding horses for a living. And that was, I did that for 12 years. And then I met my husband. And when you're riding horses for a living, you're traveling all of the time. So I would see him on Sundays and Mondays. That was it. And then I'd be on the road. And so once we got married and I started trying to get pregnant, I was like, I gotta reel this in a little bit. I had my first daughter, and then I still took her on the road with me. And then I struggled a lot to get pregnant with my son, went through IVF, all this stuff. And at that point, that's when I stopped riding. But that's also when I really lost myself. And I'd always had situations, with my confidence and with food related issues. And I gained a bunch of weight post baby, and I just became super, super unhappy. And it was getting to the point where our marriage was struggling because I was looking to him to validate me as opposed to figuring out my own self. And so finally one day I just started this Instagram account, and I just said, hey, I'm changing my life today. Follow along if you're interested. And people followed along because they wanted to either see me succeed or they wanted to see me fail. And I started growing an Instagram following, just this random, I was posting workouts and what I was eating, and just, it was holding me accountable. And so, people started reaching out to me, reality shows, different people to see if I wanted to do it. And I actually did a different reality show prior to Housewives, because I was finally catching steam. I'm I'm feeling good. I can do this. And I did the pilot, and I was I did it without a rep or anything. And I was absolutely not. I cannot be on the show. This is the worst show of life.
What show was that?
I can't even say, but I was I need professional help to get out of the show. I cannot do it.
Big Brother?
I cannot tell you. So
I'm trying to think what other shows there are.
It was so bad. The name is so bad.
Is it a one that we actually know, or something that never ended up turning into a show?
So
Dancing with the Stars.
No, not that. It's low brow. Okay.
Biggest Loser. I know.
I'm not gonna answer. So, I reached out to CAA, to one of the girls that I knew from working there. And I just said hey, you got to help me. I signed this contract. I can't do the show. My life is over. And she was I'll help you. And then she's any chance you do Real Housewives? And I was I've never seen it. Should I do it? And she goes, would you rather do Beverly Hills or Orange County? Because you have a house in both places. And I said, what's better? And she said, Beverly Hills is the Mecca. And I was okay. And that's how it went down. And then I had my first meeting, and I guess you're probably not really supposed to say that, but that's how it happened.
No, so you have a meeting. Yeah, no,
we find that so interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm always curious if people get the roles or the parts, or how it works.
It was weird. I had my first, I guess you shouldn't say audition, but I had my first screen test. And I said to my husband, I go, I know I got it. And he was how do you know? They're meeting thousands of people. I just said, I just know. I have this feeling. And he was well, you need to probably talk to your family and tell them that if you think you're going to get it. And then that's when I had that hard conversation.
And did you know any of the other cast members before going? Because some of them come in and they've already got friendships going or whatever. Did you know
I wasn't
any of
friends with anyone before. I had met Dorit. So that was my in. They were you, because we did a music class once together, something like that. But it's a gray area. No, I wasn't pals with anybody, but it was, it's incredible to go onto a show, and then, now some of those girls are my best friends. So
yeah,
because you bond in a different way. Nobody else really understands that exact things that you're going through.
Yeah.
So when you audition for the show or just do the screen test, what exactly is involved in there? Was it one audition, one screen test, and you got it? Was it a few phone calls? Like how many meetings
No,
or how
so
much went
first you
into it?
meet like first you have like a Zoom with like the casting person, and then like they see who you know and you make sure that that's going to make sense. Then you have at this time, then I had an in-person meeting with the production company. And then I had where they came and filmed me and my family. And then I did a confessional. So all of those things. But the craziest part is something that they used in my first season was from my audition tape. And I was like, I looked so ridiculous because I was trying to get the job. So I wore like these booty shorts and like heels and like I was so lunatic. And then they used it in there as that's like how I was parenting my kids. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was just to get the job. Oh.
I was going to ask you, I'm like, I wonder how much your house or your lifestyle plays a part in it. And I was going to say, but now that you're saying they brought a camera crew out to meet your family, and I would say that's probably to take a look around at what your lifestyle is like, right?
For sure. But I mean, I was in a totally different, I mean, back at that time, I was in like a much smaller house. And, you know, people always be like, you changed. And I'm like, I don't change. I just have more money. Like, it's different. Like, there's not changing. Like, people are like, you didn't like, you know, you didn't used to like to shop. And I'm like, well, because I didn't have the money to do it. So, like, now it's not that I enjoy shopping any differently. I still shop online. But, like, when your career grows, then you can grow some of your tastes.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it goes. True.
So it's cool how you got on the show, but I really respect how you left the show. You know, rather than doing what a lot of people do is like putting those simple like PR type of statements out there saying we reached an agreement. You were pretty honest that my contract wasn't renewed. And I respect your honesty and I appreciate your honesty because it was just kind of refreshing and it's real. I think some people sympathize. I think some people think your life in some ways could be just, you know, champagne and glitz and glamour, but you know, there is some tough moments. And I think that was you just putting yourself out there. And I think a lot of people resonated with you. Do you know why the reason your contract wasn't renewed? Did you ever find that out or how did they even tell you the news?
Well, I found out from the Daily Mail.
Wow. Really? Yeah.
I was on the treadmill and my bestie, Matt, he was like, he sent me an article and it said, he's like, have you heard anything? And I was like, no, I already had my meeting like 2 weeks ago. Like I thought I was back in, like I was already like prepped for the next season. And I was like, what? So then I forwarded it to my agency, like my, you know, I forwarded to CAA and my manager and publicist. And like right away they called me and they're like, hey, we found out on Friday. We wanted to give you the weekend. They said they weren't going to run the story. They're not going to renew your contract. And I think truthfully, it was because, my last season, you didn't see any of my life. You only saw me fighting with the women. And I think that if you only see one side of a person, it's really hard for people to resonate with you. I think people loved me my first season because they saw me with my kids. They saw me with my husband. They saw me going on dates. They saw me with clients. They saw me as a full person. My last season, you saw me, I mean, you barely would have even known that I was pregnant my last season because you didn't see me go, you know, at the doctor's appointments. You didn't see me taking the test. You didn't see the gender reveal. There were so many things that we did that were never shown. And I just think, you know, you get stale if you're just fighting with people.
Yeah. I mean, people love the drama, but you're right. There is another aspect of they also want to connect with you so that they can side with you in the drama or feel like they know you. Yeah.
Yeah, not. And then it's like you're a shit stirrer, you're all these different things. But yeah, if you're only seeing that side, you are. But also, you know that you're coming on that show to share, to share your life. And I think it was disheartening for me to not see any of the wonderful times that happened my last year. So, you know, even though it was the first time I'd ever not had something renewed. So it was like, you know, it was like, ugh, like there was the heartbreak there originally. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't have wanted to be on last season. That was brutal. Like, you know, watching your friends go through all that. And I wouldn't have wanted to have to comment. And
well, here's the thing. There's been a ton of speculation online that they will see you back on the show, whether it's a friend or something. Is there any truth to that? I mean, is there anything that we're going to see you back doing something with the show at all?
No, I mean, interviewed the ladies for Extra. So I've been doing correspondent work with Extra. And so I interviewed the ladies at Kyle's store opening. So that's why there's all that speculation. So, I mean, you may see me, but I'm not interested in going back in that capacity.
Would you be down to do a friend role on the show and just make multiple appearances?
I have to say I did that. Like I went as like a paid appearance one time last season and it didn't feel good afterwards. So I don't know. I don't think in that capacity, it's the best thing for my like mental state. I think when you're already in it and you're in it full time, that's one thing. You're willing to do more, but to come in just to like stir doesn't feel good to me. So I don't think so.
Gotcha.
Yeah, when you do the friend role, not even on your season, but on other seasons, because I remember there was I think her name was Kathy Wakili, whatever, from New Jersey Housewives. Do you still get paid for doing the friend role?
Yes, you get paid. So if you're a housewife, you get a salary. And then you get bumps by how many episodes the season gets. So like you're thrilled if you get 3 or 4 reunions, like because you get that bump. For friend of role, I think they do it differently, but like for me, I got like a paid set price for that one time. And they were like, if I did another, like I filmed 2 times. So I got that set price 2 times. But I think if you're a full-time friend, which means like you film the entire season, you get, it's based on, pay or play, like how much you show up.
So
you're not required to show up to all the events, but
is there anyone that is no longer on the Beverly Hills franchise when you were filming with them that you wish you would have been filming with, that you wish you would have gotten to know?
I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, I feel like I've met most of the women, and I think that everybody is interesting. Everybody they've ever had, like they've all been kind. They've all been nice. Like I think once you've been on the show, you just have that certain level of like, wow, we see each other because you know how hard it is.
Well, what's your thoughts of what's her name? Who did we have on recently, Adam? Brandi Glanville. What's your thoughts on Brandi Glanville?
I think she comes love her. She knows she's got a job to do, and she really, the hard thing. Brandi's always been super cool to me. For one, like always been really nice. She came on and did my podcast. Like she's always been super nice, but she's definitely like there's no filter. So you never know what you're gonna get. So that's when you're being filmed, that can be very scary. So
that's the best. I love her because she's like that. Like she is not afraid to start the shit, and it made her such a good cast member on that show. But I think because she starts so much shit,
then it's the same thing I was saying earlier. If you're only seeing that portion, then there's an expiration date.
Yep. Absolutely.
How's Erica Jane doing? Obviously, I feel like we've seen videos of her recently, like paparazzi videos, and she seems like she's getting her personality more back. Like she's having fun with it. But have you talked to her?
Yeah, I mean, I just did that interview with her, and she was super. I felt a lighter vibe to how she's doing, and I think that's good. I think it's making a turn to better days. And she's a good person. I really,
it's a tough situation.
I would have hated having to speculate and do all of that. And, that I'm glad I was not there for that.
Yeah. Who do you think of any of the seasons of the Housewives? Like of all the seasons of Housewives, of all the franchises, all the cities, who do you think has done the show right? Like they weren't portrayed bad. They were able to monetize it and use the show to their advantage. Like just, they did it well.
Like on Beverly Hills?
Not even Beverly Hills, even any of the cities.
I think Kyle Richards, like Teresa Giudice, like all of those OGs, like they're the brand. And even now, just watching the new show that they're on, like the Real Housewives Girls Trip,
travel one,
it's so refreshing. Like it's fun. Like there's a little bit of drama, but like you're seeing everybody in their element. And I think those women really, really did it right. And they've been doing it for so long. Pardon?
I said, I think Leah McSweeney is killing it right now. Like,
yeah.
No, you're not a fan? I just think in regards
From New York?
to Yeah, like getting her brand out there, getting people to like her. I think that she has done a good job in navigating that field.
Probably. I don't know. She shaded me a while ago, so then I just stopped following her.
Well, how did she shade you?
I don't know. I think she was like, I forget. She was like tweeting stuff about me. And so then I never tweet anything about her. I just politely removed myself from following.
Really? Didn't know that. She was cool on our show, but
yeah. How do you, the Teresas, the Kyles, what do you think they've done? Have the editors been good to them? Like how do
I think they've all had hard years. But I think they're just they've been doing it so long that they're really second nature. It's second nature to them. It's part of their life. Like for me, I had a hard, there were some times where I was like very hard to stay present, like, because it was so bizarre to me to be doing it. So, sometimes you lose your train of thought, like with Kyle, Teresa, that like, it's there. It's always them being authentic, and it's super easy for them, where like I had to really focus and be like, all right, pay attention to what somebody's saying. Don't worry about the camera. Don't worry about this. Like, especially my first season when I didn't know anybody, like that was really a struggle. And then as time goes, it starts to feel more like they're not there.
We're going to take a break, but, we want to talk about our growth. A lot of our growth really happened in the social media world.
If people have watched us over the last 6 months to a year, you could tell that our TikTok has been blowing up. Our YouTube, IG's been on point. A lot of that it comes from Herd at Media.
Yeah, they've been able to put a lot of eyeballs on our content, and it really comes down to, first, the content. It's got to be clean. It's got to be nice. It's got to be presented well.
But it's also got to speak to the audience.
Exactly.
And that was one thing that in the past, before we worked with them, our voice was never out there. People didn't understand what we were trying to get across and be in a unique, cool way. And we're finally there thanks to them.
And thanks to them, we're also to get more eyeballs on the product. Yep. So if you're out there looking to take your project to the next level, it's a podcast or a YouTube series or even some sort of video production, Herd at Media has been, for us, it's been absolutely incredible. They really brought our game to the next level. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check out herdatmedia.com. That's HURRDAT media.com.
Obviously, the Real Housewife franchise is massive. They have their fan base is out of control, but that also includes a lot of celebrities watch the show. Has there been anyone that's dipped into your DMs as a fan and just said, I love what you've done on the show, I love who you are, and you were shocked by the name popping up in that DM?
I've gotten a lot of throughout the years, I've gotten a lot of DMs, but I would say my most funny DM was recently when Dina Lohan slid into my DMs, but it was to try to talk to my dad.
Wow.
So good. But then I talked about it publicly, and she was so cool about it. Like she sent me a DM. She's like, so you got some press on my DM. And I was like, I love somebody that doesn't take themselves too seriously. For me, it's just funny. It is a funny thing to do. And the fact that she could laugh at it, and now she still DMs me nice.
Why didn't you say, I'll introduce you to my dad if you introduce me to Lindsay?
I really want to be half sisters with Lindsay. So what are we going to do? No, I said, I'm finally out of the business of setting my father up. Learned my lesson.
Obviously Doris had a tough thing recently with her house invasion. It seems like she's talking about it. She's in a good place, but does her situation change the way you think about your safety, and your friends? Because, in my opinion, it's you see what's going on in LA a lot. A celebrity says, hey, I'm going to some award show. So then some person knows that nobody's home. So are you being more concerned about your safety or privacy?
Yeah, for sure. I was never a person that set my alarm when I was during the day. And now I'm even doing that because it's just, I am scared. And I'm lucky that we have gates and we have, really good security system. We have cameras. So, but you never know. There's definitely that extra level of what's the right thing to do in regard to the social media, and are you targeted or was it random? Because there was other, I don't know if it was the same people, but there's been other break-ins in Encino recently. So I don't know if that certain area is also getting it and they're tracking when people are in town versus out of town, but I don't know. It's definitely very scary and hopefully it stops soon.
Yeah. It's pretty gnarly. I want to hear about your podcast, the Teddi T Pod, and your other new one, the Real Time Crime podcast. What made you? Are you a real crime fan? Like, what? Tell me about this
I
one.
am such a junkie. Like I am, like my husband when he comes home, and if like I go to bed early, so like after I put the kids to bed, I like start watching, murder. And he comes home, he's like, "What are? Honestly, I cannot with you. Like, are you plotting my death? Like." This is like, why are you watching women who kill? And I'm like, I don't know. I just love it. So when, I love my iHeart family, I had Teddi T Pod for 3 years, and they called me and they said, we have this hilarious comedian, Leah Lamar. We're doing a true crime podcast with her, and we want, you to do a meeting and see if you guys can hit it off. And like immediately we did. And she is like, it's an interesting thing to have comedy and murder in the same podcast, but it really works. And we both are obsessed and we go down every rabbit hole you possibly could. And then sometimes we see eye to eye, sometimes we don't. And I'm obsessed, but it's a lot of work. But now it's like, I have an excuse for why I'm watching so much or, listening to podcasts about murders. Like I need the info.
So here's a question. You recently had your dad on the Teddi T podcast. So he came in and he said that, and I quote, was terribly excited and happy that you aren't on Real Housewives anymore.
Yeah.
Why?
He saw what it did to me mentally. Like I was really anxious. Like it gets to a point like and here's the thing. If my contract was renewed, I would have stayed on. I'm not trying to be like, but you don't realize how anxious you are while doing it until you're not doing it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And the year that I stopped doing it was like a really traumatic year for us. Like my daughter Dove had to have neurosurgery. Like when I was filming the reunion, Dove had just had neurosurgery. So like I was just not doing my best. Like I was really just, one foot in front of the other. And I think he saw that. And he was like, you lost your spark and like how happy you are. And I think that it's because of that show. And it's because of, social media. When they're attacking you, I mean, it is brutal. And, some people are like, I don't care. I don't look at it. I'm not that person. I am type A and controlling and OCD. And like, I need to know the details. And so, it can suck the life out of you.
No, for sure. For sure.
You also have this fitness program, All In by Teddi. We've had Tony Robbins on the podcast. What is an accountability coach exactly? Like, what does that mean?
We hold you accountable to whatever your ultimate goal is. So some people just come because like they haven't been active and they want to start, being more active. Some people don't know how to grocery shop, like don't know the proper things to eat. So, we talk through the goals and then we hold you accountable to them. So like sending your breakfast, lunch, dinner, your snacks, your proof of activity. And then if you don't do it, you're out. So that's why it really works, because if you put skin in the game, if you're investing in yourself, and you actually have a human person texting you and saying, hey, just checking in, what time's lunch? How's it going? Blah, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden you're accountable to another human. Oftentimes we make, we'll say, oh, I want to change my life, or I want to do this. And then there's no one to hold you accountable to do it. Or like your husband or your wife or your friends are sick of hearing it. They're like, we've seen you do this 1,000 times, but now all of a sudden you have somebody that's actually, saying you signed up for this. And then if somebody changes, like you can see the shift happen, like they want to start giving up on themselves. You can say, hey, here's your original questionnaire when you signed up. Look at these things you wrote about yourself and why you wanted to change your life. Let's get back to that place, because now your brain's just playing tricks on you and telling you you can quit and you're not worth it and all of these things. But like, you really wanted to change, and you wanted to change enough that you invested this much money into yourself, and we believe in you. And every single one of my coaches has done the program themselves. So they changed their life on the program. So we're really practice what we preach. Like I was one of those people when I was, not taking care of myself properly. I'd go to a Soul Cycle class occasionally and I'd see some like perky person on the bike and I'd be like, she never struggled a day in her life. What does she know my problems? You know, like I've always had those types of excuses. And so it was really important to me, even, you know, no matter how big we've grown, that I just won't hire out just for people that, you know, want to do it. Like you have to believe in it and it has to work for you.
So in that same vein, you know, programs like this, people love to hate. Like, let's just be real. People love to hate. Programs like this will get criticized online. I know yours has got some heat. So how do you prove to people that, no, this is worth it? This one's different from other programs out there? Because I feel like that is a hard battle to fight.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing I always say to anybody who's going to hate on something, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Then just don't. And anybody that has done that to me has never done the program, has never worked with me. And I think that by people, you know, the world of social media right now is people want to create drama or create a story so that they can get fame themselves. Mm-hmm. And that creates a buzz. And so, which is why I never like really addressed it, or, you know, I did one podcast about it. But other than that, it's like, if this program's not for you, then don't do it. If you don't like me, don't follow me. Like it's as simple as that. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. These are people that are signing up because they want to change their life. They want to change their habits. If you're not one of those people or that bothers you, it's pretty simple. Don't do it.
That is so true. Sometimes it's just like people just love to hate. I'm like, again, it goes back to like grade school. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all. Like just move along with your life.
Just
we don't
move
need
along,
this
but people, you know, especially now, people just want to be bothered. They want, you know, where it's like, it's not for you. It's not for you. Mm-hmm. Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
So we got a little game for you. Okay. We want to tell you one of your father's lyrics and you have to name the song.
Well, yeah. Are you a big fan of your dad's music?
Yeah, I mean I am, but now I'm hesitant because I'm scared that I'm not going to get this right.
So what the thing is, I want to read like a sentence out of the song, obviously the lyric, a sentence of the lyrics out of the song, and just see if you can name the song.
Okay.
We just want to see how good you are with John Mellencamp songs.
Okay.
All right. Number one. Oh, this one's too easy though.
Just go.
Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone.
Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill. Is it Hurt So Good?
You want to try again? The second I say the name,
life goes on. I don't know the names.
Come on,
it goes on long after the thrill of living is. Is
and
it Jack and Diane?
Yes. There we
go.
Yeah. I understand that. Like you have to sing it a little bit. So
I know if not, I can't do it.
Okay. Oh, but ain't that America for you and me? Ain't that America something to see?
Little pink houses.
There we go.
Yes.
All right, here's the next one. The crops we grew last summer weren't enough to pay the loans, couldn't buy the seed to plant the spring, and the farmer's bank foreclosed. It's so hard when it's not sung. That's the
I need
part
you
of the
to
game.
sing. I need you to sing a little bar of this.
Not gonna happen.
The seeds. Farmer. I mean,
the crops we grew last summer weren't enough to pay the loans, couldn't buy the seed to plant this spring, and the farmer's bank foreclosed.
No.
Rain on the Scarecrow.
Oh, I wouldn't have known. That's not one of my favorites.
Okay. All right. Next one.
No, I cannot forget where it is that I come from. I cannot forget the people who love me.
Come on, small town.
I was trying to like mess with the tone a little bit.
Come on, that one. Come on, guys.
All right, here we go. When I was a young boy, safe put away those young boy ways.
Young boy, wait, no, I'm much older. When I was a young boy, Ed. I'm trying to cheat. That's my husband.
Can I get a line?
Lifeline.
You want to call a friend? Feel free to call your dad while we're on the phone. It's all good. We'll let you do a lifeline.
Let me see if he'll answer. This will be a real test.
Let's see if he knows the lyrics too.
Okay, hold on. Dad's cell. I wonder if he knows Rain on the Scarecrow. It's pretty early for him. He's in LA right now, so I might not be answering yet, guys. Hey, Dad, real quick. Sorry, I'm doing a podcast. They're going to say the words. Tell me if you know what song of yours it is.
When I was a young boy, safe put away those young boy ways. What song is it from?
Hurt So Good.
Ah, there we go.
It hurt so good. All right, I'll call you back in 10 minutes. Love you. You're welcome.
That was the coolest moment. Thank you for that. That was pretty awesome. I love that your lifeline was your dad, though. That was great. All right, got one last game for you. We want you to rank season 10 Real Housewives of Beverly Hills from the should we do least dramatic to most dramatic or the other way around? What do you think, Adam?
Least dramatic to most dramatic.
All right.
Of the women?
Yep.
No, the husbands. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
No, I thought you meant like what? Okay, so I have to like look.
Least dramatic to the most dramatic. All right.
Of season 10.
And I'll give you the names so you don't have to like look them up.
Okay, that's why I was gonna look and see a group picture.
So we've got
dramatic or good TV. I mean, this is hard.
Let's say on TV. I think that's good. Most dramatic on TV. So we got Kyle Richards, Lisa, Erica, Dorit, Denise, and Garcelle. Hold on.
Denise is not on season 10, guys.
Oh, sorry. Well,
yeah, but she's just fun to throw in there. It's Denise.
I know. But I hate to break it to you. I think the most dramatic season 10 was probably Sutton.
Okay.
Most dramatic. I mean, Erica, there was a lot of, but I wouldn't say dramatic. I mean, drama was surrounding her. So I'd say Sutton and Erica were the big ticket items. I involved in the least amount, probably because it was her first year, was Crystal.
Okay.
But I have a feeling that's not going to be the case this year.
And my question, you still watch the show then, like full time, whenever it's on?
Yeah, I go to Kyle's.
But some people, once they leave a show, they're like, nope, I don't want to watch it. And we were talking to Brooke Burke, and she was like, I haven't watched a season of Real House or Dancing with the Stars since she left. She was like, I don't want to watch because that part of me is gone.
No, well, the difference is these are my real friends. So like that part of me isn't gone. And like, I'm hearing all the drama anyway. I might as well watch it. And it's not something that I watch and it makes me feel bad. Yeah. It's something that I watch and I'm like, thank God that was not me.
Or you already know the drama because you've been a part of it. These are your friends. So you're just watching it play out at that point.
Yeah, I'm just watching. I'm watching as like a true viewer and an escape from my own reality because it's not me anymore. I thought at first maybe when I was really sad at the beginning when it was over, I thought I would never watch. And I don't watch myself. Like that's where I draw a line. But like Kyle and we have wine, we watch, and it's fun.
Awesome. Well, Teddi, I can't thank you enough for coming on. You have been exactly what we thought you were going to be. Awesome. You're so down to earth. We've been definitely trying to get you on the show, and so we are so glad it happened. And I want to tell people, make sure you go check out her podcast. Both of them. You've got the Teddi T Pod, and then you've also got her true crime podcast. And I couldn't recommend you enough to people because you are so fun to have as a host and as just a reality star, I would say.
Oh, well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I'm actually off to go film something right now.
Oh,
yeah. The crew just arrived to my house.
Oh,
so I'm giving you a tease.
Is this a reality show? Is it
It is a reality show.
Oh, so you're doing Naked and Afraid, huh?
Actually, I'm naked here, guys. When I stand up, it's going to be a big surprise. All right, bye, y'all.
Hey, man, Teddi Mellencamp and John Mellencamp on the same podcast. I mean, it's kind of cool.
What just happened? I couldn't.
That was so effortless. And like, It was so like, oh yeah, just call John Cougar Mellencamp. Yeah, that's cool.
That was awesome. Most people, you say that and you joke and they're like, yeah, I'm not gonna call. And she legit picked up the phone and called her dad. That was pretty awesome.
And then you had to say one of his lyrics to him. I was like, wait, Dax, you have to sing this to him now. Like,
no, you can't. That's the whole point, is you have to say it, and that's what makes it extremely hard. It was funny because when we were first like talking about playing games with her, they're like, oh, just play the song, like play a clip. And I'm like, no. You got to read the lyrics, because that makes it extremely hard to know what the hell song it is. So that was fun. It was a fun game. I like that one.
She just actually, the thing I took away from this interview is she raised a point. She said, on my last season of the show, before, and maybe part of the reason why she didn't get renewed is maybe there was just she was too dramatic. There's too much stuff going on around her that they need that balance. Yeah. Like they don't need that energy. And when you think back, people like that usually don't last too long. Like you think of Danielle Staub from like I don't know if it gets old real quick, but I don't think in my opinion, I don't think she got old, because she was very likable. She's very fun. She's cool. She's got a cool life. Like, it was kind of fun to envision her life. She was a great cast member of the show.
Yeah, and it sounds like she's better without it, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
She's got the friend. She's still in the crew, but without having to have your drama splashed out in front of everyone. And it was a good platform for her people to get to know her. And now she can go and succeed doing other things. And clearly, I mean, if she's wrapping up with us to go now film another reality show, like, she's doing well.
Yeah, no, for sure, she's doing.
I do want to know what the reality show was that she was doing right before Housewives, though.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. It's crazy that hasn't come out,
right?
Like, that's
that she was
wild.
Like, it's not fun, it was not good. Curious what it was. She said lowbrow, so I'm like, I was racking my brain trying to figure out what like lowbrow reality show would have been out at that time. But most of the ones I could think of were all like dating ones. I'm like, well, she was already married, so it wouldn't be that. Couldn't figure it out though.
Oh no, but listen, we have a video portion of this podcast, and it's on YouTube. Make sure you check that. We're on all social media platforms: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We're on it all. Make sure you follow us on TikTok. We got some really fun content on there.
Dude, our TikTok audience has been growing like crazy too.
Thanks to Andrea and Pat and the team at Hurrdat. They've been great.
Please leave us a review, you guys. We ask every week, but please leave us a review. It is the kindest thing you can do for us, other than just sending us straight money. We need reviews. It helps with the algorithm in iTunes and lets other people discover our show. So if you can take 4 seconds out of your very busy day, scroll down to the bottom on the iTunes page, leave 5 stars, and leave us something. We will read it on air at the beginning of each show. We like to give a little shout out as a thank you to anyone who leaves us a review.
Yes, you can find me at Adam Glyn, Glyn. You can find Dax Holt at DaxHolt. And Dax, as we say every episode, goodbye. What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, so we can just feed you all the goodness daily.
Hurry up. Come on, let's go.